Whoa, Mondo cool.
That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
Hey, howdy, hey, I'm back with yet another crash course. Just pumping them out tonight, baby. I bought a couple DualSense controllers and I wanted to talk about how much I hate it. I hate the DualSense controllers. The actual transaction, not bad. I just don't like the DualSense at all. I really dislike it actually. So this is me talking about that. It's from a piece I wrote called "Low Battery, Lower Tolerance." It's kind of the trials and tribulations I've had of dealing with the DualSense. I talk a little bit about the economy and even kind of talk about my dad's complaints at the cash register. So enjoy. I just despise the DualSense. I just want to complain a bit. Um, and yeah, I think I think PlayStation and Sony, as their corporate parent to a larger extent, are now in this business of making luxury hardware for folks who have disposable income. They sort of like lean slowly away from just regular products and kind of into more of this direction of selling more expensive consoles, peripherals, that sort of thing, higher dollar items to an upper class type of clientele that has the financial maneuverability to be able to kind of purchase these higher cost offerings. I think it's unfortunate, honestly. This whole thing is an unfortunate reality that we're all living in. The cost of goods and services have gone up dramatically year over year. Companies and individuals in the current economic climate have been charging more for their products, which is in due part, a large part, to the political landscape that we find ourselves in as Americans. And yeah, these decisions in the global marketplace have kind of caused strain. It's getting late. In the global trade and business relationships between our country and the rest of the world. Um, yeah, and the main fact you should take away from the current economic situation is this: trade wars aren't good for anybody. You know, how can you negotiate with the madmen? Do you just tax them back? No, I mean, look, when we play that game, everybody loses. And there's been a fair amount of backpedaling on the tariff stuff, right? Um, but yeah, that whole thing is just like it's silly. It's a silly way to tear down political and financial goodwill we as a country have worked hard to cultivate with neighboring countries and leaders around it. You know, starting a fight with our country's friends and neighbors is the wrong thing to do if we want to make America great again. Like the Orange Man gestures so heavily towards in his rhetoric. But anyway, I digress. I digress a lot. But let's keep the main thing the main thing. It's easy to create in despair when talking about things like this that cost money, the purchasing of goods and services when it comes to video games. You know, after all, gaming is a hobby to be enjoyed. In the grand scheme of things, there are more important things to take care of in life before attending to the buying and playing of video games. And you know, I'm not saying gaming is inessential because it's essential to my life. It is. It is a core thing I'm doing day to day. But when it comes to living daily life, our daily needs, financial responsibilities, those things come first. And once we decide where we need to allocate those funds in a given pay period, then we can kind of turn to video games after that. Like that is the last thing. Like basic necessities, human needs come first, right? I wish this weren't the case, obviously. But putting food on the table is a bit more important than playing that hot new video game that just came out. You can't eat a digital license now, can you? More people are being shrewd about where and when they spend money. The costs of doing business are rising rapidly while people's wages aren't. The rising tide sinking all the ships that can't stay afloat. We're in the middle of this like widening. I'm calling it the widening. A gap between classes that gets larger and more concerning by the day. The rich are getting richer while the poor people are being priced out of bare necessities. You know, being hungry doesn't allow you to eat the rich, though. Like, genuinely. You need basic needs to survive. Maybe taxing wealthy folks more for making more money would alleviate this problem. I know, wild thought. I know. And when you're starving, buying that big screen television just isn't as important, you know? Um, yeah, personally, I'm lucky to have some disposable income to use for buying things, within reason, of course. So I bought a Switch 2 recently, for instance. And yeah, it came out on my birthday. It was awesome. I talk about it at length in a different podcast about it. And yeah, I swapped out my dusty old and abandoned Series S to help with that, and I was very glad I did so. Once the Switch 2 hit and I picked it up, it was I wrote about my entire experience. So like I'll talk about that different time. Um, but yeah, like I'm very financially solid when it comes to you know putting my money in the right places and having some left over. We are in a better spot than we've ever been, even though it's not always super comfortable. I always have money left over, even though it's tight. Um, but yeah, like before I got my Switch, I got a couple more dual senses from Target. So um, yeah, when I brought in my Series S to GameSpot to trade in towards the Switch pre-order, I also traded in my original white DualSense that came with the PlayStation 5. For some reason, the launch PS5 hardware, it's just not as good as future SKUs of the same product. The launch version of the PS5 console was prone to have faulty disk drives that crapped out shortly after release. And what's more, like the battery life on launch PS5 DualSense remotes had very slim lives of around like 2 to 3 hours of charge, which suck. It just sucks. Like you feel like you're always charging that thing. Um, and it turns out I got all the bad luck in the world for these two cases because I had both a faulty drive for discs and controllers that had shitty battery life. And I was like, great, I gotta go pony up big for some accessories. And I need to do it fast because costs are rising rapidly for gaming hardware and add-ons because of tariffs. And it might get staved off further from July, but who knows? Who knows? Um, as the time of this recording, Sony hasn't raised any of their prices on anything. Microsoft has. They ripped off the band-aid and raised all the prices for their Xbox products. I think it's a matter of time that Sony follows suit and does the same thing. But who knows? Who knows? Um, and yeah, like me buying these remotes, it was after months, years, honestly, of just dealing with issues with them. And I had two different colors of DualSense, white and hot pink. Or there's a name for it. It's like cosmic red, but it looks like pink. I don't know why the who's naming these things. Like genuinely, cosmic red. It's pink. If you look at that thing, it's pink. It's like a hot pink. It's wild. It's more close to purple than pink, I think, personally. Um, with both of those were like launch window remotes with battery life issues. And I know you can like technically replace the batteries in each. You'd break the warranty for doing so, but I didn't think I was brave enough to try, so I didn't. But yeah, I despised using these controllers. Let me tell you, I was charging them like all the time. It felt like I would like play an hour to an hour and a half of the game before the low battery notification would display on my PlayStation. And then, the buttons also got stuck to the remote really easy. No matter how many times I would clean out little bits of trash and detritus from between the button housing and the joysticks, both locations would just continue to keep sticking in various ways. And it was very, very, very frustrating. The touchpad, also overly sensitive to even the slightest touch, depending on some things. In some games, the touchpad's used for menuing or guideposts, like in Ghost of Tsushima, where you can flick the pad and it'll direct you to your next objective, which is cool. But yeah, I was like fighting with these controllers daily because I my PS5 is my most used console, or was before I got a Switch 2, right? Um, and having to deal with so much bullshit to play my games, it was just infuriating. And honestly, I considered just throwing them away, being done with them, buying new ones to replace the ones I discarded. But I didn't. But the idea crossed my mind. They crossed my mind. The launch remotes just felt chintzy and cheap in comparison to newer controllers. And maybe the assembling and sourcing of parts for these things became more quality as time went on, or when COVID hit, it may have made production even harder when it came to putting them together. I don't know. It's unclear the reason. I have no clue. But at launch, the quality seemed low for the manufacturing end of the console and its peripherals because of the faulty issues people have been having, right? And the last straw I had with these freaking remotes came when I was playing Split Fiction with the wife. It's the newest Haze-like game. If you know them, they do a bunch of co-op multiplayer focused games. Really cool stuff. But like the battery issues that we it got so bad we couldn't even finish like a single level in that game before the remotes died and needed to be charged. It was so annoying. And by that point, I just had enough. We went to Target the next day, and yeah, I decided to bite the bullet, and we got two controllers, which were expensive as fuck. I got a silver one. My wife got a baby blue one. Just a horrific color. I don't even know why she likes that thing, but whatever. It's not a big deal. But the price of both after tax was just shy of $200, which is insane. It's two remotes. It's two remotes. Um, yeah, I was like, holy shit! Like this is the economy we're living in. That like this price for two remotes. And I did the thing that dads do when they have to put money down on what they like deem as expensive. I was flabbergasted personally. Um, but like even amidst my stupor, I managed to remark to my lovely wife's chagrin, "Geez, you can't be serious. Like you can't be that expensive, right? That can't be how much you're charging." The Target employee was nonplussed by this musing, and my poor wife was very embarrassed at my utterance. And best believe I heard about that on our way back to the car. So I paid for my transgressions. But my dad, this reminds me that my dad made this move all the time growing up. It's one of his favorite things to say to someone at the cash register. Um, I don't know, this sort of sticker shock response maybe rubbed off on me. And yeah, my dad hates spending money when he has to. He hates it. He isn't like a frugal person necessarily, but he loves griping about something he thinks is too expensive. It's like his favorite thing. And it's not like a money issue usually, because he, yeah, at least these days, seems to have enough money to get what he wants. But for some reason, he always has a habit of grousing about the price of things at the checkout counter, which is a very funny thing. Like he had just heard about the price right then and there. Um, kind of feigning ignorance. And, I think because of him, growing up, I learned that if you don't like something pricey, you can complain about it, and I guess I just do that now. I don't think it's right, but you can't change things now. I'm getting set in my ways, heading on the slow road to 30, right? But yeah, whatever. That's the story. It's nothing crazy. Shit's expensive, and I hate the dual sense. That's really it. I will say the new ones are better in almost every way, but it's like the memories of those old ones just like stick to my brain still, even after purchasing their replacements. I had that pink one for a while after, and I was just like, fucker. Uh, yeah, I used to just look at that thing and go, "Sure, I have these brand new ones. I don't need your ass. You're the backup controller." I used to say, like, I hope you get covered in dust mites, whatever. But yeah, I even sold that thing too because who needs three controllers when you have two people? I mean, we didn't need it, so I traded that into for the pre-order. But yeah, I kept it as a reminder that the DualSense was terrible and I hate using it. And I don't like the new controllers really that much either, but whatever. I prefer the DualShock personally. The DualShock 4 was nice. It's like top three favorite controllers. You can listen to a Stick Drift episode and hear my rankings of controllers, I'm sure. But yeah, that's a little story about my time with buying a DualSense recently. I don't like the DualSense. It's too heavy. It's got a lot of I just have a lot of minor issues with that thing. Um, yeah, and it's heavier. It's just heavier. I don't like that. I like the DualShock 4 a lot better. But whatever. Nobody cares. It's just a fun story. I guess this will be a crash course. Who knows? I mean, keep gaming, right? I mean, you'll have to use a DualSense controller if you have a PS5. So God be with you. Um, but yeah, I got the Switch too. I've been playing a lot more of that, and the controller on that is very nice. The Pro Controller 2 or whatever you call that thing is good. So it's been nice kind of having a new thing to distract me so I don't have to use a dual sense. I just not a fan. Not a big fan. So yeah, for me, keep gaming. And I got more stuff coming out. I just recorded a couple other pieces, one on Final Fantasy one on the contraction of media and the entertainment landscape. Got a Dune the Dark Ages review coming, a Claire Obscure Expedition 33 review coming, and I'm going to talk about the Switch launch too. So yeah, I got a couple more things in the hopper. So stay tuned and enjoy when that kind of comes out. But yeah, keep gaming, keep listening.